In Afghanistan, where I lived the first 15 years of my life, because of gender norms and social rules, girls and boys never came together in a single space, including school. It was taboo to talk to someone of the opposite gender other than members of your family. And the first time I went to school with girls and even had close relationships with girls who were not my family members was when I came to Canada and went to Ridley College. And it is such an honor for me today to be speaking to a crowd of girls who are around the same age as me. Ms. Jurovic, Mrs. Weinstock, Branksome staff, parents, and students. My name is Asmatullah Azizi Arab. I was born into the Azizi family of the Arab tribe in Afghanistan, which is how I got my last name. The Arabs in Afghanistan are known for their love of knowledge and values, which heavily influenced the way I was brought up. I live by the words my father shared with me when I was 14. One night, he asked me to have tea with him, and I still remember every word he said. He said, "Look, son, you're 14 now, and I think you have grown up enough to understand what is good for you and what isn't. I trust that when you go out, you will always remember to respect our values and others. Do not break my trust, and always remember that whatever you do outside will reflect back on yourself, our family, and our values. Be responsible, and I will always have your back in whatever you want to pursue in life." That conversation got me thinking about my responsibilities for my family, for myself, but more than that, it got me thinking about who I am and what is my purpose in this world. That sense of doing good deeds and being accountable was what shaped my vision for the future of this world. Back in the day, I used to walk 30 minutes to school and then back again. As I walked through the beautiful streets of Kabul, the capital city of Afghanistan, where I was born and raised, I would see kids around the same age as me or even younger working on the streets to find a couple cents to feed their families at night. After that conversation with my father, I had an eye-opening moment, and I realized that my privilege as a young man going to school. I felt responsible for the children working in the streets, and that is when I decided that my vision for my life is to create a world where children go to school instead of working on the streets, where parents do not have to worry about feeding their children, and where children are not left orphans because of war. If my purpose was to create a better world for the children, I knew that the road ahead of me would be a tough one, and that I would need to make many sacrifices. And my life changed when I was accepted to the Army and Navy Academy, a prestigious military school in California, when I was in grade 10. I was to continue my high school education in grade 10. And in May 2016, I got my US visa. I felt like I was getting a step closer to my goals and my vision. But little did I know about all the dangers that were awaiting me as I proceeded to go to Army and Navy Academy. In September 2016, I arrived at the school, went through the orientation, made lots of new friends, and everything was going absolutely amazing. Fast forward to November a bit. Back in Afghanistan, one day when my father is walking down the driveway, he notices a letter that was slid under our gateway overnight. He opens it, and the letterhead reads, "The Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan, Central State, Kabul Governance Office." He immediately realizes that the letter is from the largest terrorist group in Afghanistan, the Taliban. Absolutely in shock, he returns back to the house and proceeds to read the letter. And he realizes that it's a death threat to our family because I was studying at a military school in the States, and the Taliban believed that I was being trained as a spy to come back and fight against them. My family was in shock. Seeing the danger reaching for them, they didn't know what to do. The only thing they knew was that they couldn't tell me. In December, Christmas break came, and I wanted to go home because I missed everyone, but everybody was against my decision. And that was when I found out about the threat and why they did not want me to go back home. They were worried that I would be killed immediately after my arrival. In April 2017, life got even more complicated. For multiple reasons, including the election of Donald Trump and the travel ban on Muslim countries, the Army and Navy Academy was not able to re-enroll me, and I had to leave the school in June at the end of the school year. But the tricky situation was that I couldn't return to Afghanistan because it would be the same as signing my death sentence, and I couldn't stay in the States because I was there on a temporary student visa. And I was lost and felt completely stuck. And I've never felt that helpless in my life. Even my family and my home country were not able to help and protect me. School finishes in June, and having no other way to stay alive and safe, I decided to cross the border into Canada and seek asylum. I went onto Google Maps and began to plan. At the age of 16, that was the hardest decision of my life. I booked myself a flight to the Bellingham Airport in Washington State, which landed at about 4 p.m. on June 29, 2017. I closed as close to the border as I could with a taxi and waited there for 6 hours in the woods until it got dark. And once it got dark, that night of June 29th, just a pair of jeans, a black t-shirt, my favorite sneakers, and a bag full of documents, I began my journey of fear and courage, a journey to the other side of the border, a journey to Canada. So I had planned to cross the border, go to a gas station, and take another taxi to the Vancouver airport, where I would take a flight and come down to Toronto and ask help from the Afghan community's office here. But my plan didn't work. After 4 minutes on Canadian soil, I heard police sirens. My heart started beating as hard as it could, and immediately realizing that I was getting caught, my brain ordered me to start running. And as I started running, in a matter of seconds, I was surrounded by 3 police cars. The officer started yelling at me, "Do you realize and understand that you're entered Canada illegally?" And all I could say was, "Sir, please, sir, protect me. If you deport me from Canada, the Taliban will kill me." The officers approached me slowly, my hands shaking in the air. They handcuffed me and started searching my bag full of documents. Immediately after that, I was transferred to the detention center in Vancouver Airport, and the legal proceedings began. In the first month, when I was in Vancouver waiting for my legal immigration documents to be processed, I experienced the hardest days of my life, occupied with loneliness in a city that I've never been to before. It was a time when, no matter how hard it was, I had to keep going and not give up. It was a time when I couldn't afford to give up so that I could pursue my vision and be the statesman I wanted to be. And finally, after 2 months and 6 days, on September 6, 2017, my claim in the court was accepted and I was granted permission to apply for Canadian permanent residence. And less than a month ago, I became a permanent resident of Canada. Thank you. After Vancouver, I was transferred to Toronto, where I started to support myself from within. My goals, my thoughts, and my visionary future was what gave me the mental energy to fight pessimistic thoughts and loneliness. It was the time when I was going through those days that I learned how to control my mind and my thoughts and my emotions. So I installed a winning mentality in myself that no matter what, I will stay resilient and win this battle over circumstances. I used my inner resources to help myself be mentally prepared for the toughest days of my life to come. From that point, when I understood that I couldn't afford to fail, I put everything into getting to where I am today, both intellectually and mentally. When I came to Toronto, I was introduced to Miss Miller through family connections, who heavily influenced the way my life turned out after that. If she had not trusted me and believed in me and fought to get me into Ridley College, when the academic year was bound to begin in a week, I simply wouldn't be here today. I came to Canada because I knew that if I had gone back to Afghanistan, I would be assassinated immediately after my arrival. I came to Canada to fight for my life. I came here because I had a vision for the future of my country, and I had promised myself that I will help transform Afghanistan to a stable country. Sooner or later, most of you here today will get to a point in your lives that you'll be challenged, just like I was. Whether it's moving to a new city, a new school, going to university, just know that the harder life hits you, the more mentally prepared you will be to face tougher situations in life. And remember to reach out to people in your surroundings when you're in need of help, and be willing to extend a helping hand to those in need around you. I want you all to remember this. You have the capacity to do more than you think you can. You just need to let your thoughts freely wander to find your true passion and place in this world. And that's when you become unstoppable, and you can truly begin to help yourself and your surroundings. Never give up on your vision after finding it. Lead with your heart and go beyond the limits set out for you in this world. But most importantly, do not let circumstances and situations dictate your journey in life. Thank you.
Thank you, Asmat, for coming to Branksome to speak at a green carpet celebration today. Thank you for inspiring us to help build a more inclusive and caring Canada. We will do our best to follow your lead and find ways to respond to challenges with courage and build stronger connections within our community and with communities beyond Branksome. Thank you for joining us today and being a part of our school closing ceremony. We appreciate your taking the time to be with us and ask that you accept this gift as a small token of our appreciation. We wish you all the best at Huron University College this fall.